came from. God has never had anybody qualified work for him yet. There's not one. You're not going to go through you go through the book, you're not going to find anybody qualified. All a bunch of failures. All a bunch of misfits many times. But he's able to take them and get involved in their life and do wonders with and through their lives. For example, Abraham, well, he was a moon worshiper and a liar and was very impatient. Went and had a son of his own accord without waiting on God. But you know what? He became a patriarch. Moses, well, he said he had a stammer. He was also a murderer, and yet he ended up being a deliverer. Jacob, well, he was a thief and a con artist, but he became a patriarch. Rachel, well, she was I actually meant to put Rahab, was a prostitute, and she became a grandparent of Jesus. Ruth was a Gentile, an idol worshiper, of an incestuous relationship, but she became the grandparent of David and in the lineage of Jesus. David was a shepherd. He was also an adulterer. He was also a murderer, but he became king. Nehemiah, well, he was a food taster, and then later on got the skills of an architect and went and built the walls of Jerusalem. Peter, well, he denied Jesus. He was considered to be ignorant and an unlearned fisherman, but you know what? He became a forerunner for the New Testament church. Paul was a zealot and a bigot, persecuted the church, and wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. Stephen, he was a waiter and became a martyr for the kingdom of God. Mark, well, the first time we see him, he quits and runs down the street naked. Then later on, he goes on a missionary journey and he quits. But you know what? He becomes an author of the gospel. Matthew was a tax collector, despised in Israel. There were sinners, then below that there was tax collectors. He became the author of one of the most amazing manuscripts that God gave to man in the Gospel of Matthew. And Jesus, well, he was just a carpenter from Nazareth. Can any good thing come out of there? That's what Philip said. Philip said to Nathanael, Philip, finding Nathanael, said unto him, we have found him, of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. And Nathanael said, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth, or where you live? Where you're sitting right now listening to this. Can any good come out of where you live? Or out of the room you're sitting in right now? There's all sorts of reasons why it shouldn't, couldn't, and why it might not ever happen. But I'll tell you, when you don't limit God in your life by where you came from, it's amazing what God can do. Do not be surprised.